Hello beautiful yogis, we're doing a cooking segment today. I know so many of you who have been on the retreats with us would love to know more about the vegetarian cooking. So just to do something very simple today, a Mediterranean couscous salad, also with halloumi. So no meat involved, but who needs meat when you've got something so yummy as this? So the first thing we need to do is to get our couscous soaking. So I usually get my couscous at an organic store, but you can buy it in the supermarkets in packets. And the quantities are obviously going to change depending on how many people you're cooking for, but I'm just going to make a small quantity today. So couscous actually swells up quite a lot. So get a freshly boiled jug of water, and you just really want to cover your couscous with the boiling water, and you can just grab yourself a tea towel and pop it over the top just so that the steam gets into that couscous. It'll fluff up really nicely, and then from there you can put that to the side. Okay, so what we've got today are some vegetables that are going to grill really well for us. So you've got the option, if you've got a griddle pan such as this one, you can use that. Otherwise you can certainly roast your vegetables, just pop them in a moderate to hot oven. So these kind of vegetables actually will cook fairly quickly. So I've got zucchini, eggplant, I've got Swiss brown mushrooms, button mushrooms, any kind of mushrooms will be good, capsicum, and I've got my halloumi here. I'll probably put that on at the end. It doesn't need so much cooking time. And I've also got some beautiful mixed olives here as well, just to give us that Mediterranean flavour. Sumac, not such a popular spice, but I love it. It's from Turkey. It's got that, again, that Mediterranean quality to it, so that's nice. It's got a nice red fleck too as it goes through your couscous. And then you just need your salt and pepper. This is an interesting blend that I've got. It's 100% pure Himalayan sea salt, which has got all the great minerals, and this one's actually a 3-pepper blend, so it's paprika, black pepper and chili, but salt and pepper. Any salt and pepper is going to be great. So what we want to do is slice our vegetables nice and thin. So let's just top and tail our zucchini, and as best as you can, keep a steady hand and just get some nice thin slices going. Okay, we may not cook it all today, but again, if you're cooking for quite a few people, you definitely use that whole zucchini. So just have that ready to go. Same thing with your eggplant, just top and tail, and as best as you can. I usually, with the eggplant, it's a bit sturdier, so I can stand it on its end and just run the knife down with this one. So we've got that one ready to go now. Capsicum, everyone's got their own way of cutting capsicum, but I'm just going to run some slices down, and don't need too much today, so that should be enough for me. I'm going to keep the mushrooms whole and then just grill them and slice them up at the end. So we want to get some flavour into these vegetables at this point. So what I'm going to do is grab myself one of these garlic cloves. It's elephant garlic, but you can use whatever you like. I'm just going to crush it down just to release all the flavour and all the oils. Don't have to be too fancy with it at this point. It's more just to get a garlic flavoured oil. So a bit more of a crush maybe. And I'm going to put that into a bowl and just add some olive oil to that. Okay, and that's going to give us a really lovely garlic flavour onto our vegetables. So I only want a couple of slices of each of these veggies. So I can show you for today. So let's get those arranged. Mushrooms as well. And you can probably use a pastry brush or something like that just to sort of brush over your vegetables. I don't actually have one, so I'm just going to drizzle this oil along my beautiful Mediterranean vegetables here. And obviously the longer you keep that garlic in the oil, the stronger the flavour is going to be. You can also add things like oregano. Dried oregano would give a nice Mediterranean flavour as well. Okay, so you really need your grill nice and hot, almost kind of smoking. You want a bit of a sizzle factor going on. So let's just put them oil side down. Our capsicum and our mushrooms. We'll just put a couple of those mushrooms on for today. So they'll need a few minutes each side. You'll know when they're ready to eat because they get nice and soft and pliable. In the meantime, I'm just going to prepare my olives. So I actually find that olives taste better if you buy them with the pip. I know they're not as convenient, but it's a really simple thing to do. What I just did is I crushed down onto that olive, and so at that point it becomes really easy just to sort of separate and take the pip out nice and clean. And then, you know, you can just break your olives in half and keep them like that. So we want a few of those as well for our couscous. We've got some nice Kalamata olives here and also some green olives for a bit of a different flavour. Okay, so I've got my olives ready. Still, while my vegetables are cooking, I'm just going to prepare my halloumi. So halloumi is a very easy cheese to find. It's quite a hard cheese, so actually we're going to grill this as well, but we'll keep its shape and just make it a little bit more molten and gooey and beautiful to eat. So just a few slices of our halloumi. And we might just do one serve today, so maybe, you know, 3 slices will be enough of that. Okay, so when we're ready to turn our vegetables, you know, use tongs or something like that. I'm just going to use my knife and my fingers and just flip it over. I'm sort of so used to cooking that my fingers are used to this heat. So just guide them over, and you'll see there we're getting beautiful grill marks here on our vegetables as well. So that's beautiful. It looks really attractive. Turn our mushrooms over. Okay, so I'm going to, at this point, I'm just going to turn the heat off because the residual heat's going to cook those vegetables through. And we're going to go into the garden and pick ourselves a lemon. So I want to use the zest of the lemon in the dish as well, and also lemon juice at the end over my halloumi. And I'm going to pick myself some basil as well for the dish, which will have that nice Mediterranean flavour. So other herbs that you might use would be mint or coriander. I think would work really well. So turn that off. Again, the residual heat's going to cook that, and we're going to go to the garden. Okay, so we're going down to the garden and going to pick ourselves a nice lemon. Obviously, if you don't have lemon growing in your garden, then you can buy lemons anywhere, too easy. So this lemon's ready to go at this point. I always thank my lemon tree. I'm always amazed by food growing, particularly in my garden. It kind of has to do it on its own accord. I don't really do too much to help it along, apart from pray to the tree. Yes, yum. Okay, and then we'll go back up to the kitchen. I'm going to get some basil from my garden as well. So let's pick some basil as well, just a few leaves of basil. Basil I find to be quite a strong herb, so we don't necessarily need too much of it. And let's finish our Mediterranean couscous. Okay, so our lemon ready to go and our basil. And at this point I'm going to take the vegetables off, and while I assemble the couscous I'll put my halloumi on. So just take these veggies off. I'm actually going to cut them, so it's fine if you just want to sort of stack them on top of each other. Couple of mushrooms. I'm going to turn my heat back on for the halloumi, so probably work a little bit quicker now because that halloumi won't actually take long, and it is such a quick dish. So you'll actually see now that my couscous is beautiful and fluffy. So let's have that ready to go. I want to actually zest some of the lemon, so excuse me for a second while I get my zester. You want to zest just the skin itself, not the white bit, not the pith. It's going to give beautiful flavour. All the oils there in the lemon skin, absolutely beautiful. We'll pop that in. I'm just going to tear the basil in as well. Some of the heat of that couscous will help the oils to come out in the basil. Obviously great aromatherapy you're getting there. I actually say, and the food dude taught me this, that if your animals sniff your herbs in the garden, that it's really good for their health. So that's always really good to know. A little bit of my sumac, don't need too much of that. Just sort of shake that in. Okay, I can't forget about my halloumi here, so let me just turn that over. Beautiful grill marks are there again for us, and just while I'm assembling the rest of this dish, I'm going to turn that off. Okay, so just nice sort of cubes of the vegetables. You know, big enough that you can see them in the dish, but not so big that you know, wouldn't get it in one kind of mouthful, one forkful. So just start to put everything together. I can throw my olives in as well. My mushrooms. We're going to cut everything similar sort of size so they get to go in the dish. My zucchini. Just put all that in. And my capsicum as well. Don't need to be that neat with your chopping. I always kind of like more of a rustic look anyway with my food, but that might be my excuse for not having terribly developed skills. So put all that in. Okay, and then we just want to mix this all together. And you might actually find that we need to moisten the couscous with a little bit of olive oil. And you just add that if needed. There might be enough oil in your vegetables and it's fine. Okay, and we need to season. So remember, this is my salt and pepper mixed together. But I didn't season the vegetables when they went on the grill, so you may need a little bit of that at this point. And generally when you're cooking, you need to taste your food as well, just before you've served it, particularly if you're serving it to your guests. Have a little taste to see what it's like, but I'm going to trust today that that's beautiful and lovely. So when I'm ready to plate my dish, just grab myself a plate here, and I'm going to put some couscous right in the middle of my plate. Okay, neaten it up, make a nice little mound for yourself. And then take your halloumi and just pop it over the top. Okay, and just arrange it any way that takes your fancy. So I've got my lemon here, fresh from the garden. Just a nice squeeze over the top. So halloumi is very salty. I wouldn't actually season that. It's very, very salty. And if you want, at this point, just grab your olive oil, run it around the plate and over the top a little bit. And that's our Mediterranean couscous salad with halloumi. Absolutely beautiful. Enjoy.
Can't keep us together. Love can't keep us together.